Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Prague in the Czech Republic, one of my favorite cities to go to in Europe. My top three: Paris, Rome, and Prague. Any of those, you're gonna love it. And the thing is a lot of people talk about the best cities in Europe and the new Prague or the Paris of the East and all these kind of things. And what we want to go through today are the 6 most overrated kind of sayings and stuff about here in Europe, because people talk about going places and seeing things and running and doing all this stuff, and is it really worth it? So what I have are the 6 things that you need to just forget about because it's overrated BS basically. And the first thing that's way overrated when you come here is Brussels. Okay, Brussels is the most overrated city in Europe because in the US, whenever they say news about Europe or the European Union, it's always from Brussels, from Brussels. And so we keep hearing it and we think, oh, that must be a great place to go. You know, you hear Walmart's from Bentonville, Arkansas. Oh, if Walmart's there, it must be a great place to go. Obviously, if you've been to Bentonville, not much going on. You go to Brussels, not so much going on. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some beautiful things to see in Brussels. You know, like you do have the Grand Place, the great square here, with the town hall and everything is beautiful in Brussels. But the thing is, you've got this, and a few museums, and Mannequin Pis, which is kind of a letdown because you think, oh, it's this famous statue of a kid peeing, but literally it's a tiny statue of a kid peeing. You're like, oh, that's it? Like I see tourists turn around and go, that's all it is? There he is, the Mannequin Pis. You want to see him life-size? Let's zoom out and see just how small he really is. But even the Mannequin Pis, the little boy statue, you're really going to be disappointed by it because literally it's about this tall, and you'll walk and go, where is it? And you'll see tourists looking back, and you're like, what? And you'll turn around and go, oh, that's it? It's this big? Yes, that's all it is. So Brussels is the most overrated city in Europe. So if you're going to be going there, if you got to go to Belgium, dude, go to better cities. Bruges, one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. Leuven, great university town. Ghent, even Antwerp, okay? Better than Brussels. So, first most overrated city, Brussels. Get rid of it. The second most overrated thing is the running of the bulls in Pamplona. I hate to break the secret to you guys, but they run bulls all over Spain. It's not just Pamplona. And Pamplona's been overrun by basically American college kids that want to run with the bulls there and get hurt or get drunk. And the thing is, most of the people that die during this are they're drunk and do something stupid. It's not the bulls that get them, it's their stupidity that kills them. And if you want to go see running of the bulls, or not actually run with them, but watch them or run with them, go to many towns, you know, by Barcelona or wherever Pamplona is. They all have running the bulls because they have to get the bulls from where they live to where the bullfights are. I've been outside of Barcelona in a small village, and all I know is it was nighttime and they had the bulls running, and one of the bulls had fire on his freaking horns running around. I'm not making this up. It was crazy. And I got to go down, and there's no bullfighters in some of these places. You like walk out with a bull and then you jump back into the steel cage, trying not to get hit or anything like that. I mean, it's a cool experience, but you don't need to do it in Pamplona where prices are way high and the drunk tourists are there, all kinds of stuff, and it just gets really crazy. There's other places to do it. So that's why Pamplona is our second most overrated thing about Europe. The third most overrated thing about Europe is Eastern European cheapness. Now, a lot of people say, well, Prague, that's Eastern Europe. No, guys, the wall fell, the Cold War is over. This is Central Europe, and they have Central Europe prices, which are closer to Germany, Austria, and the US prices than they are to, oh, a nickel, I will be able to buy this hotel. No. Eastern Europe is not cheap anymore. The hotels are really getting expensive, especially if you want an equivalent accommodation of like a Holiday Inn or some nice bed and breakfast. In Eastern Europe, you know, we're talking like the Lithuanians, the Russias, Ukraine, stuff like that, Romania, you're going to pay a lot and get a little, okay? So it's not cheap. So don't expect, oh, I'm going to go to Eastern Europe and I can go for 10 months, for if I go to London, I only get 10 days. No, it's not that much cheaper. Now, it is cheaper, don't get me wrong, but it's not insanely cheap anymore. So just prepare yourself and your wallet for that if you're heading to the east. The fourth thing that's way overrated about Europe is this anti-Americanism. You know, I've lived in Europe for 13 years, okay? I've made friends everywhere. And of course there's people going to say, oh, I don't like America. Well, it's not they don't like you, it's they don't like the politics from the US. And if you're worried that people are going to pick on you because you're American, or you need to feel like you got to put a Canadian flag on your back so they'll think you're Canadian so you get treated better, you don't have to worry about that. Europeans aren't gonna beat you up because you're American, okay? The people that would beat you up, they're drunk, they're idiots anyway, and you can be in America and they do that, so don't worry about it. So that's the fourth thing that's overrated, is this thought that all the Europeans are anti-American. That's just a load of malarkey. The fifth thing you should know that you might be over-evaluating about Europe is a lot of people think, oh, well, I go to London, I've seen Europe. Or, you know, well, it's the equivalent of saying, oh, I went to New York and I saw the US. There is so much more to Europe than just the big cities, and it's not a homogenous group. And that's what a lot of people think. Europe is just one homogenous group because they have the European Union now, and they have all the common currency, so it's all the same. You cannot be farther from the truth. Czech Republic compared to Belgium compared to Spain, 3 completely different cultures. Well, 4, because Belgium has 2 cultures. Different cultures, different languages, different people, and you should travel all of these different parts of Europe to enjoy the differences in cultures, the differences in people, to see that no, there's not one Europe, there's many different countries and cultures here that are mixing together, which is cool, but there's not just one Europe, okay? So don't think, oh, I went to London and Paris, I saw Europe. No. Prague is different than Paris, and Paris is different than Porto. And so get around and see as much as you can to start to understand some of the differences, because the mentality, the food, the people, it's different everywhere you go. It's not homogenous, okay? So that's overrated. And the sixth thing that's overrated about Europe is the thought of they're all arrogant Frenchmen. Guys, Europeans are fantastic. I have friends from pretty much every country in Europe. I travel with them, I hang out with them, we Skype, we email, we do all kinds of stuff. And don't let you to think, oh, well, all French people are arrogant or all Germans are rude and not friendly. That's the farthest thing from the truth. Europeans are fun, they're friendly, they want to show you around. So if you do travel, don't just kind of stay in your group of just Americans or just Canadians. Get out, meet some locals so you can get a taste of the culture and see that, no, they're not arrogant pricks in Europe. They're actually normal, everyday people that you might want to be friends with, okay? So for me, those are the 6 most overrated kind of thoughts, places, kind of things about traveling in Europe. So if you want to learn more about traveling in Europe, 5 things you're going to love and hate, top 10 things to see, check us out at our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, and if you have things you think are overrated about Europe or the US, hey, they're not as friendly as you think they are. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Leave them in the comments below, and we'd really like to hear them. And bye from Prague in the Czech Republic. So I'm gonna go hike up to the St. Vitus Cathedral now and maybe burn off some of that beer and awesome food, because one thing that's not overrated about that's not overrated about Europe is the food. It is fantastic everywhere. Yummy. Bye.